We all would have taken a resolution in a year, but how many have been able to take that resolution into a habit and then make it as a long lasting habit throughout their life? Even I have failed. So, this book, which I'm going to speak about, is all about habits, Atomic Habits by James Clear. So, this is one must read, I would say. The author speaks about all the things with respect to the habit building, why we should build a habit, what are the end things, what we have to do if we want to drop off a bad habit from us, and if we wanted to start a good habit, how long will it take, and what are the things which we have to do in that particular journey. So he speaks about that 1% rule, that is every day if we can do 2 minutes of that particular habit which we wanted to inculcate, we would be able to do 37 times better in a year. But the reverse is vice versa with respect to the bad habit. He says that with the time your habit actually gets compounded as like the finance or the money which we see in our bank account, because a bad habit makes us to decline massively and good habit takes us or makes us become a successful people. And if you want to see the comparison between a successful people and a person who is mediocre about it, it's all about the habits, and he gives a clear correlation like example, your bank account balance is a direct indicator of about your financial habit. Your weight is actually a direct indicator of your health habits. So all these kind of outcomes are being directly correlated with respect to the habits. So he speaks about this 1% rule, and after that he is slightly different with respect to the way how we do it. We always keep a goal or resolution in a year, but he says that give up those goals, because once I reach that particular goal, example, if I want to keep my goal as I have to read 365 books in a year, once I start with my 366th book, I lose the passion for doing that reading habit. So goal is just a momentary kick which actually you get, so we should not connect our habit with respect to goal. Instead, we have to connect with respect to the nature, the habit, or the system what we wanted to bring over here. Instead of saying I have to read 366 or 365 books in a year, it's better I should say I have to become a voracious reader, so that habit is going to stick with me long lasting. So more than goal, it's more to think about the system or the environment on which you're going to come up with that. And point number 3, he also speaks about the environment. Environment, more than motivation, the environment makes a person to do certain particular or triggers a person to do that activity. If I wanted to read a book, I have to keep more number of books around me, so that actually triggers or gives me a cue to take that book and to read. And he also says about if actually a habit has been rewarded at right time, it will get repeated again and again, and if it is punished at right time, it will be totally avoided. I just wanted to say one personal example for that. Actually, when I was in my first standard, I was copying, and while I was copying, and my teacher has caught me red-handed, and she made that as a really serious issue. She made me to meet the principal. She brought my parents, and she made me think it's really serious. So I have stopped copying after that particular incident, and I have become a honest person as much as possible. So that's the identity that particular punishment has brought within me. So what the author says here is that once you do a habit again and again and again, it actually becomes a kind of an identity. And once you get that identity over a habit, right? Yeah, I'm a honest person, I'm a fit person, or else I'm a financially right person. Those kind of identities will make you to stick to this habit unconsciously throughout your life. So that is something different aspect which I was feeling in this book. And why we have to do all this habit, that question was there in my mind. But why we have to do habit is that the author says that once we can create more number of small good habits in us, our mind will be more free to solve some of the complex problems which comes in between. Instead, we have to spend more time in reading and all these kind of things. If I can have a good reading habit, or being fit, or is financially a right person, If I can have all these habits, my mind would be not thinking about that. It's free to do other things which comes into the way. So that is the reason why we have to inculcate lot of good habits. At the same time, he also says that more than having 10 good habits in your life, it's better to while away or else crop away some of the big 2-3 bad habits which you have in your life, because that's going to eat up your improvement or else your life's growth. So he says that if you can, he also has given all the tricks or all the pointers how you have to avoid a bad habit in your life, as well as how to improvise or maximize the good habits in your life. There are 4 aspects of behavioral change which James Clear says, and first one is make it obvious. That is, whichever the habit you wanted to start. Example, I wanted to become a good reader. If you want to be a reader, I have to take my book wherever I go in the home, and wherever it should actually trigger me to start this reading habit whenever I see that. So you keep it very obvious. Example, recently I have moved a book stack or bookshelf into my bedroom, so that in the night it actually reminds me all the time to take the book and to read. That's how a habit can be formed. And the next thing what he says is that jot down all the habits what you have, so that it's becoming a habit card, and you will be aware what are the good habits and what are the bad habits which I wanted to give up. Then you will start working on it. And next point is that if you keep on speaking about I want to start a habit on a Sunday evening, I want to read for 1 hour, that's not going to happen at all, because you won't get a separate motivation to do that. He says that always insist that you're going to do this particular behavior in this place at this particular time, and followed by this particular reward. In that way, I have made a point like I would be doing this practice of reading at night 10 o'clock in my bed, and followed by a good night's sleep after that. Or else you can still have a rewarding good bath also after that. So something which will be rewarding for that particular day. So when you keep doing this, he says that at least 2 minutes in a day, so that you will not miss that habit. You will think, how come you will do it in 2 minutes? If I open my book, I can just close. But the thing is, being in that habit is more important than reading for a long time. That actually makes you to become a very good voracious reader in the future. Point number 2, he says that make it so easy. So when I say make it easy, if I'm going to play badminton with a 4-year-old child, I will lose the interest, right? Because it's going to be boring. And if I'm going to play the badminton with Roger Federer, it's going to be very complex for me, because definitely I know I'm going to lose in that. So it should be something in between both, where it should be a moderate one. So example, if you wanted to read or if you wanted to go for a marathon, it's better to start with 5 minutes of or 10 minutes of walk every day instead of planning for a marathon run immediately when we start, or 5-kilometer run. So starting that small initial steps is something which makes you to stick to the habit for a longer time. And the other thing is that the number of steps between you and the habit should be less. Example, the friction should be less. For example, if I wanted to read a book, ordering in Amazon, it has to come to my home. It will take almost 5 to 10 days. I'm going to lose that habit. So example, instead I say I'm going to invest in technology like Audible, where I can just listen to it even while I'm washing my utensils, even while washing my floor. Even while doing other activities, I can still pursue that particular habit. So invest in those kind of technologies where there's less number of friction between you and your habit. The other thing is that the 2 minutes rule which I have told, at least do that particular habit 2 minutes in a day. Practice it 2 minutes in a day, let it be yoga or else doing puja or else writing a poem or writing habit. All this, at least start with 2 minutes in a day. And point number 3 is that make it rewarding. When I say make it rewarding, it is about after doing this particular habit, you have to reward. Example, if I'm going to read, if I'm going to complete this habit of reading, sustain it for a month, I can still give one meal or else a Cadbury's as a reward for myself. So those are something which we can reward ourselves if we are sustaining with that particular habit. And other thing is that we can also connect with Instagram pages where people read, or else we can be in a book club association, so that we'll be in touch with friends who are speaking about books. And that particular it's about that particular habit should be around you wherever you go. That actually triggers you to do the habit. He also speaks about the environment which actually plays major role in doing. If we think motivation is something, that is not the one, but the environment plays a major role. So if you can prime the environment in where you are so that you can do that activity. Example, if you want to do yoga, always keep that yoga dress ready. Actually that, once you get into the dress, it's definitely sure that you're going to do that particular habit of practicing yoga. So make the environment ready for it. So those are certain things which are good. Other thing which I really like in this book is that he not only prides about getting into habit, but also the negative part if I'm doing that habit for a long time. Once it becomes an identity, I will not think about that habit and I will be doing it. When I do like that, what happens is that the efficiency of that particular habit starts to deteriorate. So once in a year, if we can just recheck on the habits what we are doing, having an integrity report and seeing like what is the value, am I abiding by the value, am I going well with the habit what I have taken. So those are something if we can keep a regular check on that once in a year, that is actually going to improve the efficiency of your good habit which you are going to take it up. And he also speaks about if you wanted to give up the bad habits, the alternative of this is that the opposite of all these things or something, make it unsatisfying, make it difficult so that you don't even go to a place where you can get the smoke. Example, if you wanted to quit smoking or drinking alcohol, the number of steps between you and the habit should be too much so that you will not go and do that particular bad habit. So he also spoke about good habit, how to get rid of the bad habit. And last but not the least, he also speaks about the identity crisis. Once a habit slowly becomes your identity, what happens is that you might get into an identity crisis. Example, any vegan, a person who is a vegan, if he goes and goes to a place where there is dairy products and he can't able to have a lunch or dinner, then he have an identity crisis. So what he says, you have to be flexible to the place wherever it is needed. So just stick to the principles and be a bit flexible about it. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. It actually motivates us to do more videos on book reviews. Thank you all.